Hey guys, so for reasons, my life has kind of like taken a weird turn, and behind me I have a mess of what is essentially death cleaning that has been happening. My grandmother's health has been deteriorating for a very long time, particularly in the last 2 years. She had Alzheimer's that was advancing fairly, at the normal pace. And then she caught COVID in 2021. Very long story. Don't really want to get into it, but she, was bedbound and since then never got out of bed again. And her condition deteriorated very quickly after that. But for many reasons, now my mom has reached max capacity in her apartment. Also, because of the pandemic and mental health issues, my mom's house just became like a depression house, basically, like all over the place, just stuff. And I have just spent the last week helping her try to clear all that. It has been a lot emotionally and just like emotionally as well as physically, because there's been a lot of laboring involved on all levels and helping her physically move the stuff because it's a lot of stuff. I had to put stuff in storage. I hate that it was even necessary, but some of the stuff is actually necessary. It just can't be in the house anymore. It involves her building and management and the hoarding situation reaching a point where it was a problem and her ability to stay in the place was challenged, called into question, stuff like that. It just got really bad. We've made a big dent, but now it means that a lot of stuff has come home with me because in my mother having a lot of stuff, she had blocked off access to my old stuff. So for years, I had been wanting to get access to like old books, old clothes, old stuff, movies, film, that's the same thing, photographs, stuff like that. So I have now actually gotten access to some of it, not all of it. There's still some like in the closets. We've dealt with the visible clutter, mass clutter, and now once she finishes putting stuff where it belongs that is still in the house and getting rid of all the other stuff that needs to be donated, then we will have access to the closets. So more stuff will be coming to my place for me to decide like what stays, what goes. Maybe some stuff I'll try to sell. I have mixed feelings about selling stuff just because it's such a hassle and then I have to store the stuff until it gets sold. So I don't know where I'm gonna go with that aspect of it, but in the meantime, I've got a mess to deal with. So this is just a small portion of the mess. So these are things that my mom had that she doesn't want anymore, plus things that belong to me that she had saved. This was actually my middle school home ec project, which I'm actually planning on keeping. Apparently my grandmother really loved it and never wanted to get rid of it. My grandmother was a seamstress, so she had emotional attachment to this. These are some of my grandmother's sweaters that I made the choice to keep. I'm probably going to keep this top one and this other one, which is like a vintagey looking, it's got like a 70s vibe. I know it's not 70s, but it's got that vibe. And this one was actually my sweater, which when I was in middle school, tried to, like declutter, and she really liked it. She loved the color blue. I mean, she is still alive, so she loves the color blue. But she never wants to get rid of it, and I feel a little bit nostalgic because she wore it so much. So I'm trying to decide, do I keep it? Do I let it go? And then random bits, like I used to love this bag when I was in middle school, so I'm a little attached to it, but also at the same time, I'm like, do I really need it? Maybe I'll just take some pictures and move it on. These were my mom's. I'm probably going to donate them, give them away. These were like Crayolas, colored pencils that I had in like elementary school. She still had them. And then like all these shirts from when I was in college and high school, which like I didn't even know were still around. So I need to decide what to do about those. I have the cats here. I have my laundry. I have a bag of stuff to donate / take to my office. I've got a travel case thing that I'm actually going to keep because it's still useful. I have other stuff here on the floor, evening bags, an outfit that I wore for a like cultural event. These flowers, my mom made those. They're actually kind of pretty. I might try to salvage them, but she kept wanting to donate them. And I was like, you can't donate this. She's like, yes, you can. They'll take anything. And I'm like, oh, no, they won't. So I just stuck it in my box. And then these are photo albums. There's a kitty cat. Photo albums that are mine that I'm going to take the pictures out of and just keep the photographs, get rid of the albums. But it's stuff everywhere, and it drives me crazy because I don't like stuff. I already had a hoard of books here that have been coming and like piling up because I've been in a book buying mood. But now I have my, old editions of the Harry Potters. That is my signed copy of Twilight because I was in fact a Twilight girl. And then a couple of vintage books that I have purchased over the years from collectors and stuff like that. So lots to sort through, and more to come. Biting my toes. This is what I put up with now. And what you hear is the wind of the tropical storm side of Hurricane Ian passing at the moment. Apparently my job is already flooded, so I mean, not that we were being called to go in, but we just got the update that what we suspected was about to happen yesterday when we were leaving has already happened, and the bay has, I guess, already surged into the area. So I'll be home. Not sure if I'm supposed to be working today or just closed. So I'll log in later. This boy keeps shaking me. He's currently biting my ankle. Oh goodness.
Not completely heal, but it is something that is vital to thriving long term as an author. Theodore Roosevelt famously said, comparison is the thief of joy. And it is so true. Like, if you can get to a point where you just celebrate.
Hey guys, so it's like 2 weeks, I think, or so since I last recorded. I don't really know. I can't remember when I last recorded these clips, but I have been taking care of the piles the cats are eating, so that's the clinking you hear. I've been taking care of all the piles that I've set up over too many months now, as far as books in the corners and stuff like that. Having helped my mom with all the emergency cleaning that happened, I have been inspired to go back and reevaluate a lot of the areas that I've been pretty much postponing addressing in my own home for a while, just because of lack of time, lack of energy, etc., whatever. And there's a lot of stuff, and the book piles were easy to tackle. I just took a little bit of time to address the stuff that was adding up and to finally just cull stuff that I know I'm never going to read again. So I'm just going to briefly show you guys that bit just to hold myself accountable. So previously this corner was literally just stacked with books, many of which I had already read. This box had books that had already been read, which were to be, either donated or placed on shelves, etc. This is my TBR pile. Just that. I mean, physical TBR pile. Other TBRs exist in the Nook and in the Kindle, but physically, that's what I have to read. Now, again, don't mind the mess, because this is just what happens when you're transitioning through cleanup projects. These 2 bags are what I'm getting rid of. And this primarily is what lived in this corner shelf, a little bit of what lived in that shelf, and then the one on the bottom down there where the little bear and sloth thing are. The others I have yet to tackle. I particularly want to address the DVDs. That black case over there is where, I think more than a decade ago at this point, I consolidated most of my DVDs, except for series. At the time, I felt attachment to the series. So like here you can see Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter are there, plus a few of the others like Disney movies and stuff like that. I'm gonna get rid of those, stick them into that thing, and only keep maybe a few of the nice cases, and that's it. Just get rid of the cases. I don't need them. Let's be honest, I don't really ever watch the physical ones, but in case they get pulled from streaming, it's helpful. Down here, I am in fact getting rid of my entire collection of A Song of Ice and Fire, Fire and Ice. I can't even remember now what it is because it's been so long since I've read them. But anyhow, I'm getting rid of them because I'm never going to reread these books. Let's be honest, the next time that the next George R. R. Martin book comes out will be God knows when, and I'm probably just going to hear it as an audiobook. I do not have time for it. So if I want to reread, I'll check them out from the library, or just more than likely just do the audiobooks. This bag has that was a book that we did an event for several jobs ago, and then the rest is my Outlander books, because another massive series, and let's face it, I'm never going to read them again. So the reality is that I just don't have time to reread. I know that these are books that I loved. There was a time and a place for them, and I held on to them a little bit longer than others just because I had a little bit of extra nostalgia for them, because of the time when I read them, because I loved the writing, whatever. And I just know that I'm not going to reread them. I kept my paperback copy of Outlander because, to be honest, my paperback copy felt more sentimental than my hardcover. My hardcover was bought years and years and years later after I had read the whole series, just on like a whim, just to have the hardcover back in the day when I valued hardcovers. I value the space of the paperback a lot more now, and to be honest, that's the one that I reread multiple times when I was in college, so I'm going to keep the paperback of Outlander. I'm going to keep the paperback copy of Cross Stitch, which was the British version of Outlander, and I'm going to keep Dragonfly and Amber because that's the only one of the series that I really, really enjoyed. To be fair, I was much more likely to read massive books back in the day and to tolerate just like rambling a lot more than I am now. I just don't have the patience for really rambly stories, and that's why I'm like, the last few books, gotta say, I have really lost interest in the series. I have not even read the most recent one that came out. I think about like Tell It to the Bees or something like that. No idea, haven't read it. I have a hold for the audiobook because I know I just don't have the patience for that book. Barely got through the last one, so just gonna do that. Now, I also know that a lot of these books might be gone also in the next few years. I have days where I'm just like, get rid of all the books. And I say this as both a writer and a librarian, but so there are some days where I'm just like, I don't need any of this stuff. It's taking up too much space in my house. I could probably get away with just the handful of the ones that I feel really attached to. But I also like the look of books, so it's a little give and take. I'm gonna go through my recipe books yet again. I no longer receive recipe books in print, so that's a good thing because I used to receive a whole lot of recipe books in print for review. Now I just receive the occasional one on digital format, which is good because it saves me space. But I'm gonna get rid of those too. So that's the plan, and then eventually I need to address some other corners. This corner in particular is my I don't know what to do with it corner, and it's been growing and it needs to be addressed. It probably won't be addressed this weekend, but it's a start. And I also have another one of those corners here in the kitchen, which is the stuff, well, not in the kitchen, the living room kitchen area. It's the stuff that I brought home from my mom's house that I have decided to get rid of. It's kind of just there for the sake of piling up a few bags to take to donations, and just other bits and bobs. I have a painting that I painted in high school. I don't really want to keep it, but I do like the canvas, and so I'm thinking of buying a acrylic slash marbling kit thing to see if I can do one of those drip paintings. I'm intrigued by that, and the canvas is massive, so I think it should be reused for something. Also, I have a really scratchy throat, maybe getting a cold, I don't know, but it's really annoying, and you can probably hear it in my voice. But for now, I'm gonna check out and see you guys later. I don't know how long or weird this video is gonna be because I'm just putting it together in pieces. I've made myself a chai latte because it is the next day after the last clip. The allergies that I thought I had are a full-blown cold, which feels like an insult after going through COVID to just get a basic cold, but such is life. I've been writing and I've been making some good progress on that. The virtual writing retreat has actually been very helpful, and I managed to do a fair bit of decluttering, so I finally tackled the box. And by the box, I mean that box, which in the end was actually just full of stuff that I could easily sort through and get rid of. That small little container is stuff that now has to find new homes. Those are the things that I'm either going to keep or take to work or sort through a little bit further, but that's like the stuff that just needs to be rehomed collection, whereas this box was just full of stuff that really was either trash or could be trash, and that bag is just a bag of bags for, you know, the purposes of donating and sorting and dividing into piles. So a good fair bit of progress in just a few minutes, to be honest, and that was yesterday. So now today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drink my chai because I wanted the spice. I'm going to go and tackle the DVDs, because while I don't have much brain space right now with just the head cold aspect of this to do more writing tonight, or at least not at the moment. I might get a second win later, but for the moment I'm just a little bit too drained. I feel a little bit worn out. I wrote 1,000 words today, so I feel like that's my current goal for longer writing sessions right now. I'm writing a novella, which is a follow-up to the novel that I'm querying, because if it falls through, I have other plans and I want to keep going forward with that. So, but that's not what this vlog is about. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and sort through the DVDs, which feels like a long time coming. And if I have physical energy after that, I might clean the fan blades. But as I said, I originally suspected that this was allergies caused by cleaning my air conditioner, because I do think there was a little bit of mold in there, but maybe not. It could just be a full-blown cold. Either way, I feel sick and my head is congested and my sinuses are inflamed and I am not happy. So I will find what energy I have and take care of what I can. But DVDs first. These kitties are in the way. They're going towards the shelf. That's the stuff to donate and or trash. The bag is mostly just the trash from that box. The shoes, no. Those are just my workout shoes that live in that basket because Figgy likes to bite shoelaces, so I have to separate them. So I'm going in. And since I don't really have much energy, I'm actually sitting on one of the bean bags that the cats always steal for bedding. So right now they're very concerned about why I am sitting on their beds, even though they have always been mine to begin with. So I'm sorting between like the stuff in these regular plastic cases. These will go into the case, and then the stuff in like special boxes, those I will keep in their special boxes. And just looking at the stuff that I've pulled so far, honestly, most of it is gonna go. Most of these are just the plain old plastic boxes. They're not significant. They don't really affect my feelings towards the product inside, so it's probably going to empty out quite a bit of space. These are all extremely dusty, which is why I suspected I had a massive allergy attack, which again, not discrediting the fact that it could still be a massive allergy attack. Super dusty. Oh boy. Maybe. Just extra dusty. Can't handle this. A lot of these are DVDs that my partner has given me in the last few years because he values objects more than I do. Particularly pop culture objects, which is why you see a lot of like pops and figurines in my home. Like, he is that kind of person, and so if I say, oh, this is really cute,
he goes out and he buys it for me. Whereas for me, it's more like, oh, this is really cute. That's it. Like, just leave it where it is. He will then show up with the objects, and it's a conversation that has been had a few times, but he has that habit, and sometimes I just kind of go with it. But right now, I'm dealing with the effect because I don't feel like dusting every single figurine I have. But what do I do with them? Where do they go? I have no idea. Oh well, I have found that this kind of like satiny case really gets really nasty with the dust. Look who's here. Look who's investigating. Look who's up to no good in his box. The figster. Actually being pretty well behaved. Okay, now to tackle the actual shelf. So this is what the case looks like. Once upon a time, I used to actually alphabetize these, but I'm just going to stick them in here. I'm not going to sort through them. I am too old to care. And also, these just haven't been like used that much. I have plenty of spots here, but I just don't care enough to do it. I'll know that after a certain point, it was the newer stuff, and then this was the older collection. Well, those are all the cases, which is a whole lot of plastic, to be honest, and yeah, there's not much help for it, so we'll see. I might take out the slip covers on some and donate those to the library, but others are just trash at this point because they're not slip covers. These are special cases and miscellaneous things, special cases, and then everything is sorted in here. I started with Disney, so there's some Disney, some British dramas and comedies, and then the Harry Potters are at the end. And then there's like a small section of superhero. And there's a Figley. But yeah, so that's the collection. I think I did a pretty good job, and I still have space to go, though I don't really anticipate this collection growing. And we have success. I actually consolidated 2 shelves into one and took this stuff out to sort. I actually decided to put fruits basket in there as well because I was getting frustrated with the case not fitting in. I was like, well, at the end of the day, I could keep the box if I really care for the box and just get rid of the cases. These are CDs, and I haven't looked through these in years. And I have a Spotify, so I'll see what I genuinely want to keep for the sake of maybe it'll go off streaming, and what I'm going to get rid of. A lot is probably stuff that was burned for me in my youth, so that's got to be sorted. And this needs to be sorted because here he comes. This little boy is too curious for his own good and will try to make a nest in there. And while it would be very cute, he is also destructive and crazy. So no Figley. So I need to fill that cubby with something before this one fills it for me. See? He's chaotic good. That's what he is. There he goes. So I decided to make a shelf of my favorite romance series. Some of these, like this Nora Roberts series, are series that I read when I was in like high school and really fell in love with and recently purchased copies of because over the years I got rid of them and they're hard to find now. So I think these were recently reissued and I purchased them. Some of these are recent faves, and this is a series that I am still trying to finish. I've been going very slow, but it's a slower read, but I really enjoy it. So we've got some fantasy romance, sci-fi romance, historical romance, contemporary, and more historical. And what I love about romance series is they tend to be very colorful, so this will be a nice balance for like the darkness of that shelf and the comic book shelf. I feel like, and this shelf too, it's kind of like a dark tone, and I wish it were a little bit brighter, but that's what happens when you were doing your yield fantasy, sci-fi, no, not sci-fi, fantasy, fairy tale, historical series. which is what this is. So yeah, I'm gonna sort that out. It'll keep Figgy out of the hole, and I'll be happy because now I will have more space in the bedroom. And it is done. Let's zoom you guys in. There is the shelf of romance books, the shelf of DVDs with a very limited collection of special little stuffs, and then that was originally the shelf where all my Outlander and Game of Thrones stuff lived. Now it's a collection of books that I've mostly read in the last year, plus the bits that I decided to keep from that shelf. This is the comics I decided to keep. To be honest, it is mostly just a Batman shelf at this point. I'm a Batman stan, that's just how I am, so that's what that is. And then the few vinyls that I have, plus a couple of like special like graded comic books that were gifts. And then the rest, these two top shelves, I have to sort through and dust and all that mess, but that's all that needs. And then these bottom shelves, the one with the teddy bears, I recently redid in the cleaning. Those are just old books from over the years that I've kept, and a couple of like books that I've purchased after reading the book from the library and just wanting my own copy. And then this is mostly writing and history books for different projects I've worked on, and a few of my vintage, like really old books that I have over there. So that is that. And that is the whole thing, and I'm very hot and sweaty and extra sneezy now after all that dust. So I think that's where I'm going to end this vlog. I'm going to probably put it up in the next couple of days, so it should be pretty close to the actual time when I recorded this. Now I'm just going to get rid of these boxes, figure out what can be donated and what needs to just be gotten rid of, because to be honest, I don't know what else to do with them. I don't think that's the kind of plastic that can be recycled. If you know otherwise, just let me know, because they probably will not be dumped anytime soon. It'll be a few days. They'll just kind of gather in that corner with the other stuff that I have to donate or get rid of. So if you know if they can be recycled, just let me know. If like they can just be tossed in a recycling bin, I will do that. I have mixed recycling at work, so maybe that's an option. So yeah, that's it. The rest is to just sort through those DVDs. Or not DVDs, sorry, the CDs that were burned. So I will put those in my room with that other small little basket. I think I'll put those in the bigger box that I emptied, since that's like the to look through box, and I will look at them another day, not today, because I am out of energy and I feel like I need to shower off all this dust now. So I will check in with you guys later. Hopefully I will feel better by then, and hopefully I will be able to get back on track with videos and vlogs and stuff. I recorded a video on my post-COVID recovery a little while ago because people kept asking about it, but I didn't really like the video. I was trying to do a thing and I don't think I succeeded, so I will probably be posting that next sometime soon, and a general life update to catch you guys up on all that's been happening while I've been away. So I hope you've had a great weekend, evening, day, whatever it is in your neck of the woods, and I will see you guys later.